We had Damned, which is the new sitcom written and starring Joe Brand. Morwenna Banks also wrote this, as did Will Smith. Not that one.
Not that Will Smith.
One from from the thick of it, who also writes for Veep. It was set in a social worker in a council building. Child services social workers. Joe Brand played Rose alongside Alan Davies, who played Al. You also had Tamwar from EastEnders, Himish Patel. He played Nitin. There was Georgie Glenn, who was the boss Denise. You basically... Kevin Eldon was there, and Izzy Sutty. They were the main sort of six. And it was basically like a day in the life of these social workers. It was very much filmed like Joe Brand's earlier series getting on, going forward. You had like just cuts to black and then the next scene. It was filmed in a real council office, so you got that sort of feeling of the claustrophobia. And you just saw them go throughout the day. Alan Davies was having a lot of problems with his personal life. One of his former clients turned up who'd obviously got a bit of a crush on him. Joe Brand's character, she was trying to sort out this name. There'd been calling about this woman, and she was trying to work it out who it was. It turned out it was her former best friend who had since married her old boyfriend, and they were looking after their grandkids. I mean, I did watch this with my mum, who is a social worker. She found it very funny, but at the same time, she said she would sack most of the people in that office if she was their boss.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, what's the recommended alcohol allowance for a 12-year-old?
I don't think you understand. She's got a zombie knife. We're trapped in the staff room.
My boyfriend says he'll hurt me because I won't do anal like it is in porn.
Morning, Al.
Morning, Martin. Diary, please.
Diary. What a beautiful morning it is, too.
Yes.
Woke up this morning, I looked out the window and I thought, you don't get many of those to the pound. Headset.
Have you changed the door code again, Martin?
Yes, I was a little worried about security.
That's very thoughtful, but we do need to let the people in who actually work here.
Al, we need to sort the door code, and that breaches many multiple protocols.
Okay, it's either many or multiple, not both. Nitin, answer the phone.
Where's the temp? We were promised a temp.
Ta-da! It's me again.
It's Nat the temp from last year.
No, not temp now. We're not called temps anymore. We're called interim workers, like sex workers, but without the intercourse.
Good. Good to know.
Morning.
The late Rose Denby. Shit, sorry.
Ta-da! It's me again.
It's her again.
Are you the one that couldn't figure out the phone system?
I don't think so.
Could you answer the phone then, please?
Yes. Hello, children's... something.
Well, I've worked with people who acted at times like that, but okay. I think in a comedy you're doing things accentuated. I mean, as you say, Sooty's character would not have a job, for more than a day if she acted like that.
The interim worker.
I liked it. Perhaps the subject matter made it feel a bit more dark comedy than laugh out loud comedy.
I thought it was very funny, and I did watch, because I went to the screening of this. I watched it with an audience.
Hold on. Matt's been to another screening.
I have. I watched this with an audience, and I think at some points when you're doing like a comedy, it does help having other people laughing at the jokes as well. Like you get those moments, like when Joe Brand goes around to this sort of squalid house.
Yeah.
He's a former boyfriend with the is it a ventilator, the oxygen mask?
Yeah, CPD or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and there's a scene in the second, or several scenes in the second episode, where Alan Davies goes to visit a couple with learning difficulties who've recently had a baby, and that feels very true to life. And I do like the sort of comedy which is near to the bone. The sort of
I think it all works because when they go off and do their look at their cases, so to speak, it sort of brings home the reality of what they're actually doing to the audience. If it was just that office comedy with them having a couple of phone calls, it wouldn't do the childcare side of it any justice at all. I just sort of warmed to it virtually straight away, which is really
Himish
hard
Patel
with
is
the comedy.
very good in it as well. I think he's
brilliant. Yeah.
He's sort of
really
completely you forget that he was Tamwar. I think mainly because he's got a big beard.
It feels like he's not been gone from EastEnders that long.
No.
But it feels like Maddie Hill has, which is weird. But they went at the same time. But no, this is a great new role for him, and
I liked his physical comedy when he was running to the toilet and the toilet was out of order, and then he tried to get to the lift.
And also, I remember vaguely the pilot on Sky Arts a few years ago, which, in comparison to this, seemed very watered down. It didn't hold my attention that well, whereas this seemed very tight. It knew what it was trying to do. It knew what it's trying to say to the audience. Do you think you struggle, Gary, with more realistic comedy, would you say?
Did you watch Getting On, Gary?
No, I didn't. What?
Because your reaction to Speechless was, "Where's the comedy?" So I just wondered
just
whether
because of the way you two were saying it, I probably.
But you really enjoyed the thick of it, didn't you?
I did. I really enjoyed Veep.
It's
It's
a similar style to the thick of it, isn't it? The way they sort of the camera and the
quick
editing
cuts
and everything.
The reason I watch comedy, and I know this might sound like a really stupid thing, is to laugh. And although that happened occasionally in this program, that wasn't the whole thing.
See,
the whole thing was laugh.
Oh, I think there was. I think
Well, no. But what I'm saying is there was lots of good comedy, but it was peppered also with these moments of drama and.
I mean,
pathos,
I like the line Joe.
which
Brand
is not
had.
why I watch comedy for.